In this video, we're going to explore negative numbers, which is a tricky topic. So try to practice this quite a bit because we need it for a lot of our topics for later. So let's just have a look at a number line like this with 0 in the middle, positive numbers here, and negative numbers kind of on the left. Okay, and we're going to start with a number, say 2. Let's start at 2. Now, if I was to add a number to this, like 2 plus 5, then adding will go in this right-hand direction. So we would be adding and going 3, 4, 5 and going in that direction. But if I'm taking away, I go that way to the left. Okay, so 2 take away 4, for example, start at 2 and go to the left 1, 2, 3, 4. I would end up here. Okay, so 2 take away 4, I end up on minus 2, like that. Okay, what about if I'm starting on minus 2 and I add 3? Okay, so minus 2, we're starting here, and I'm adding 3, means I'm going to the right. 1, 2, 3. So I end up on positive 1, which we just write as 1. Okay, so I've got a single sign between these. Minus 2, that's the starting point. Plus, go to the right. Minus, we go to the left. Okay, what about if we have minus 2 minus 3, like this? And this is where it starts to get even more confusing, I should say, because it's already confusing. But here, we've got a minus and a minus kind of attached to each other. A lot of the times the brackets aren't there. They should be, but most of the time you'll find brackets are kind of missing and you see this minus minus next to each other. And this, a lot of students understand minus and a minus is a plus, but they apply the rule at the wrong time. Okay, so let's see an incorrect use. Minus 2 minus 3 means start at minus 2 and go left by 3 because it's minus 3. But a student often will see a minus and a minus and think this is going to turn into a plus because they use the rule minus and a minus is a plus. This is the incorrect use of that rule because it's only used when the two signs are kind of in contact with each other here. They're next to each other with nothing in between. So we've got a minus and a minus with nothing in between. There could be a bracket, but that doesn't really count. We can just kind of ignore that bracket. And so in this case, these two minuses would turn into a plus. So it would be minus 2 plus 3, just like we had with the previous example. Okay, so when we're just adding and subtracting numbers, whether they're positive or negative, we're just deciding if we go left or right, unless we have two signs attached. So let's do 3 plus negative 1. Okay, here we have two signs that are attached, so we use our rule, plus and a minus becomes a minus. Okay, if the signs are the same, they become positive, like minus minus. If they're different, they change into a minus. Okay, so 3 minus 1 would just be 2. All right, excuse me. So this is our plus and a minus is a minus rule used when we're adding and subtracting. But obviously that's not the full story because we have to multiply and divide these numbers and it becomes another layer of confusion. So we need to separate out whether we're adding and subtracting like this or we're multiplying. Minus 3 times minus 4. Okay. In this case, yes, minus and a minus becomes a plus, even though they're not in contact with each other. And this is the main reason why students get confused, because it's like, well, when do I do this minus and a minus, and when don't I? Okay, because if this was a plus, then the plus and the minus would become a minus because they're in contact with each other. But when we're multiplying, we don't have to worry about whether they're in contact with each other. We do the 3 times 4, pretend that the negative signs aren't there, and then we do minus times a minus becomes a plus, like that. So we have to make the distinction between when they're in contact like this, there's no times or divide, and when there's a times, we can apply the rule where the signs are disconnected. So let's just do a few examples, and you can practice this in the app, and you can just get in touch if you're not too sure with what's going on. So let's do 3 times minus 5. Ignore the signs and just do the numbers. 3 times 5. Let's get that part first. And then, well, what have we got? We've got something times a minus. Well, there's an invisible plus sign in front of this 3. So now we have plus times a minus is a minus. They're different signs, so they become negative. Okay, minus 2 times minus 4. Ignore the signs. 2 times 4 is 8. Then minus times a minus is a plus. So when we're multiplying, and if this was a divide, it would be the same thing, like 8 divided by minus 2. Ignore the signs. 8 divided by 2 equals 4. And then a plus divided by a minus is a minus. So it's the same rules with times and divide. We just go plus and a minus and a minus. Okay? Try not to apply that rule when you're doing adding and subtracting. Minus 3 plus 7 is not minus and a plus is a minus or anything like that. It's just simply start at minus 3 and go to the right 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and see where you end up. Okay? Give that a practice, and if you need any help, feel free to get in touch.